Welcome to Talking Sport, KP. Great to have you join us, mate. Thanks to our sponsors, of course, Old Bridge Sellers in Como, Finance My Home, and It's Real Estate. Mate, what are you doing? You've been out fishing. Look, it's not quite crazy season yet.
No, it's not. No, mate. I'm on the ship that the English cricket side are on, sailing south, mate. They got no hope, mate. So 6 months in the leaky boat back to England, I reckon, for the Poms. But we'll talk about
via Noosa, apparently.
Noosa Heads, of course. Yes, the
good waves up there, they reckon.
They're probably the blokes that've been setting fire to the place. We'll talk about a little bit more about the cricket and that, mate. But I just decided to have a little bit of a nautical theme. I've got my nautical blazer on and that sort of thing. This is the closest I can find to a rugby top. Seeing as we've got John and Ross on the show, mate. But I'll leave that up to you to introduce, mate. Away you go.
Yeah, so we've got some fantastic guests joining us today. John Sackson is the NRL WA General Manager. We caught up a couple of weeks ago. There's been plenty of excitement about the Bears in the last few weeks with a few signings finally, but there's plenty more to talk about. We've also got Ross Pitman. We had Ross on about 6 months ago when we had a good chat, and we've got him on again, and he had a great celebration with his supporters group for Christmas already. So hopefully you don't have too much of a hangover there, Ross. But
guys, very excited, very good. So
great to have you on, and it's all NRL. Got the Perth Bears gear that you sent me, Ross, and we're right in theme. But John, we'll start with you because there's plenty to talk about. A lot of excitement over here in Perth. For NRL as a sport, because there's been some changes with the Premier League. There's been some expansion of some new clubs. But give us a bit of a quick snapshot of what NRL WA does for rugby league in Perth.
Yeah, Fez, and thanks for the invitation to come on, mate. Look, our job at NRL WA really is to grow the sport of rugby league, promote the sport, develop it. We've got a team of 5 game development officers full-time, as well as numerous, assistant game development officers that we call on a needs basis. But their job is to get out to the schools and into the junior clubs and just make those critical touch points to young West Australian boys and girls, to introduce them to the game of rugby league, the great game of rugby league. They do a fabulous job out there, and we're getting more and more schools engaging with the sport, and adding we've got 8 schools with rugby league on the curriculum, and that's certainly going to increase as the impact of the Bears is really felt through the West Australian market. We're already seeing evidence of that, which is very, very exciting. But just looking at our numbers, in 2025, this year we're almost at 4,700 participants. That's an increase of 4.1% on last year. We've been growing the game year upon year, which is exactly what we want to do. All sports want to see growth. Of that, we've got 3,565 males, a 2.3% increase. Females, 1,059. That's a 10.8% increase. So we're seeing a lot more young West Australian girls and ladies playing the game of rugby league, and that's pretty well right across the board. Particularly with such a great competition as the NRLW, which is just an outstanding female sporting competition. And in that critical under 6 to under 18s demographic, which we call our juniors, we had a 4.75% increase. So we're getting significant increases right across the board. We're getting a lot more participation at schools. I won't bore you with all the numbers, but you mentioned we've got a very robust club competition here. And excitingly, this year's premiership, we had 6 first grade sides. We're sort of moving back into the real glory days of the past in the local premiership. In 2026, we're excited to say that we're moving to 10. We're going to have 10 teams competing in the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership, which is terrific. And of course, in connection with the Mighty Bears, I'll just give a shout out to the Willagee Bears Club that won our first grade premiership, men's premiership. I see Roscoe there putting his big thumbs up there because he's got a relationship with the Bears. But that's the first premiership that club has won in their long history. They'd played in one grand final before. I think it was back in about 1982. I think it was, and they got defeated. But for them to win the premiership this year, particularly, they had been in the first grade wilderness, so to speak. They had been out of the first grade. They'd been competing in lower grades, but they re-entered the first grade premiership this year, and they did an amazing job to go on with it.
Sounds familiar about the Bears being in the wilderness. That's familiar.
Exactly. The Bears in the wilderness, the same way as the Mighty Reds been in the wilderness for around about the same amount of time, roughly. But guys, look, we've that's really exciting news. We're seeing growth. We had real success with our state rep teams this year in the combined affiliated states and territories championships held in Melbourne. We won both the men's and women's premierships, which is great. We really have a proud and rich history in state football over here. Look, there's a lot to look forward to. The game, there's a real spotlight on the game now. We've been working very hard. The whole community's been working very hard for decades now to get a franchise back into this city and to be able to compete more on an apples for apples level with the other football codes. That is now happening with a view to 2027. I think that there's an enormous, robust, exciting future for rugby league in this state off the back of the Bears. We're going to see a lot more growth. We're going to see a lot more West Australian boys and girls wanting to play the game of rugby league. There's lots of sponsors who have been supporting and will continue to support the game over here, and it's a whole new era. So if that just gives you a bit of a snapshot, but I'll just take your questions and answer them. If you want me to talk about the elite games coming to Perth next year, I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, look, I noticed that there's going to be 2 NRL games again next season, and some big clubs too. The Rabbitohs are coming over, the Raiders. You can talk about that. I mean, you said to me when we caught up last week that these games, they basically sell out. There's a huge following for rugby league here in Perth.
Yeah, Fez, you've witnessed it, mate. You've been aware of it. Look, in the time that I've been involved in the game here, like even going back like to 2010, the Rabbitohs, we've got a wonderful relationship with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They were the first club really to sort of put up their hand and say, we want to commit to Perth. We know there's a market to be tapped there. And I think since 2010, they have visited Perth to play fixtures, NRL Telstra Premiership fixtures on, I think, 12 or 13 occasions. That's also excluding the years of COVID where games didn't happen, but they've been absolutely amazing. And of course, the beauty of when these elite teams come to town, it gives our game development staff, access to a really powerful tool, a game development tool, star power. And, these clubs commit to supporting the game over here. We get star players out to the schools and into the junior clubs. We get them doing a lot of media work to keep talking up rugby league in a positive way. And to that end, just looking to 2026, Fez, as you mentioned, Saturday, the 11th of April, a big doubleheader at Optus Stadium. You might recall a doubleheader a couple of years ago. There's about 49,000 people came to that doubleheader at Optus Stadium. Incredible. But we're going to see the Rabbitohs play the Raiders, minor premiers in 2025, the Raiders. It'd be fantastic to see that exciting team over here against the Rabbitohs, who have the biggest club West Australian membership of any club in the NRL, not surprisingly, given the number of times they've come into this state. And they've really grown their regional membership over here. And also, we're going to see the Cronulla Sharks. This will be the second year that they've come over here with a home game, taking on the mighty Roosters. So when you look at that, those 4 teams, they're all teams I would consider to be real glamour teams of the NRL. And certainly when you look at the Raiders, Cronulla and the Roosters all competed in the finals this year. And the Rabbitohs obviously had a season they'd rather forget in 2025, but I'm sure under Wayne Bennett and probably hopefully less injuries, they'll be right back up there in the mix for the finals next year. And then on Saturday, the 8th of August, we welcome back the Storm, bringing a home game to HBF Park against the mighty Sea Eagles. And that's going to be round 23. So we would expect that will have finals implications we would expect. And then later in the year, in October, of course, the Rugby League World Cup. And we've got 4 games over here at HBF Park on October 17, round 1 in the Men's World Cup. We've got England taking on Tonga, which will be a cracker of a game, I would expect, given the strength of rugby league in those Pacific teams. And we're also going to see on October 17, England versus Wales in women's. And then the following weekend, October 24, we'll see England play France in the men's tournament. And big game, be fantastic to see the Australian women's team, the number 1 team in the world in rugby league, taking on the arch rival England. So that's going to be a fantastic way to finish off the year with the Rugby League World Cup in Perth with those fixtures. And that's the year with all of these elite games is just going to really set up the introduction of the Perth Bears in early 2027. It's going to be a real entree into the main course, of course, next year with the Bears coming in 27. So we're very excited about that, and all of these opportunities help us to fertilize the game here, if you want to put it that way, and help us really grow the game, get all the media attention, and that helps drive growth and interest and engagement. So we're very excited about all this elite football coming our way.
Yeah, well, Ross, how are you going with your frequent flyers, mate? Because it sounds like there's a few opportunities for you to come over and have a couple of frothies and go to the NRL with us.
I'll tell you what, I was talking to the guys at the Christmas party the other night, and if we could get guaranteed tickets, I would set up the Den Tourism Board, and we'd charter a plane and bring a bucket load or a truckload or a plane load of people over, you know. So we're only talking about it the other day because I keep getting asked all the time, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? But if we could get guaranteed game tickets, mate, I would start the process now of chartering a plane and selling package deals with accommodation and stuff like that. I would do it tomorrow.
Mate, I reckon, Roscoe, I think if we have some conversations with the Perth Bears administration now, I reckon they would welcome. I would organise it. I would organise it. So and we'd try to get in with some travel agents and stuff and organise some package deals and things like that. Because I get asked all the time, you know. So we already said we're going to paint the Indian Pacific red and black and get it over there. So I don't like the 3 or 4 days. I prefer 4 or 5 hours and, you know, do the job and red eye home or something like that, you know. So yeah. Well, Perth would welcome you with open arms.
Well, mate, I think we need to talk.
The only bloke who's not keen on the Bears is Basil Zempilas. He's cracking on in Parliament about
Who?
Basil, big bad Basil.
I know you're talking. I'm being facetious.
He's about the only guy that's not enthusiastic about it. The only problem with the plane flight of blokes over, you'd have Ross, is get them all in the backyard at Farrelly's house. I don't think his missus would be too happy, but we should be able to organise some form of other accommodation. But it's fantastic that it's just a quick question to you, John. And I know junior footy is your main junior feed. How important is it getting that into the schools for you guys, for you to grow through? I mean, it sounds like an obvious question, but or how, maybe I'd put it this way, how enthusiastic are schools for the uptake of something like junior footy?
Yeah, KP, it's a good question. As I mentioned, look, we've got 8 schools with rugby league on the curriculum. Our intention, our goal is to over the next, say, 5 years, off the back of the Bears, to get it up to around 20. Now, critical to that is the commitment from the West Australian government to they've ring-fenced $35 million to invest into game development here, particularly we're talking junior game development, grassroots development, and that's a lot of money to spend over say 5 years plus. and that money has got to be really carefully strategized in terms of how that is invested to get a great return on investment. And we'll be working very, very closely with the Perth Bears, and of course the key players in this will be our game development staff, which we anticipate will be increased to have more impact out there in the market. But that's so we're going to have good funds to help fuel the growth of our sport throughout the West Australian school network, and look, that's going to lead to more, again, West Australian boys and girls who want to play the game, want to engage with it, want to be fed into the local club system, and hopefully a lot of them, the more talented kids who really aspire to one day wearing the black and red of the mighty Bears. So it's a key focus for us. That's a real key metric for us. And that's how we really gauge our performance, really by increase in registrations.
And if parents are enthusiastic around seeing the sport nurtured inside the school their children to go to, what's the best avenue for them to start, the process?
From a parental point of view, KP,
mate, keep jumping up and down, and
Yeah, look, we've got clubs, local clubs all around the Greater Perth metropolitan area. Well located. I think. Look, it's up to the parents to, I guess, at the end of the day, to direct their kids into the sports that capture their attention. Look, if there's a lot of expatriate, like people from New South Wales, Queensland, New Zealand, who Northern England, who live in this state, and of course, if they have that passionate love of rugby league, it's going to rub off on their kids. But there's plenty of opportunities for local kids to join up with the local club network here and sign up and become a part of a local club, and they'll be welcomed with open arms.
Especially down at North Beach.
Yeah, great club, North Beach.
Love the beach.
Hey,
I love the beach. We used to go and watch the footy across the road. We used to watch the footy, and then a mate of ours, Raph, he played footy played rugby rather at North Beach. So we'd have a few jars there on the way home, just to really annoy the wife, because they had to. I remember they had to just put the lights in there at Charles Riley, and used to. I'll just call it into watch Raph play half a game of rugby.
Yeah, mate, it's a very good club. It's a great facility up there. It's a great location to watch rugby league, and over the years you've probably noticed they've done some good renovations to that club. They're one of our better clubs in terms of how active they are, and both on and off the field, doing a great job.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, I might have to create a little bit of a rivalry then if you're all got your assigned club. I live in Manning, just around the corner from South Perth, so I might have to jump on the South Perth side, and we'll create a bit of fun during the season, fellas. Now, Roscoe, you had a bit of a Christmas catch-up with your supporters group over the weekend. How messy did that get?
Oh, it was great. A lot of the old guys that have been hanging on for a long time, waiting for the Bears to get back. I was trying to get some videos for you, but it was just way too noisy and whatnot, so it just didn't happen. But we ended up having about 40 odd people turned up, and they all caught the train from Sydney and Newcastle and everywhere. Just to get 40 people on the one day on it, and especially if it's a Sunday. We can't do it on a Saturday because people like to go to the races and stuff like that, so we always have it on the Sunday. But a lot of tall stories were told, a lot of bevies were sunk, and everyone had a good time, and everyone's looking forward to next year already. And that's where the conversation came in about what are we doing? How are we getting there? What's going on? So that was the crux of it on the weekend, and generally anything Bears related, and tall stories and lies and anything against the teams that we hate. So it was all systems go.
It's amazing how much better we get the older we get.
Oh, tell me about it.
I tell you, in the last 2 or 3 years, some of my cricket back in the early days has become substantially better.
I like it.
Now we've finally had some signings for the Bears. it was a little bit slow going. You know, media were throwing funny stories about they're struggling to secure players, but there's been some contracts signed. And what's your thoughts there, Ross?
Mate, it's great. It's great. Yeah, well, as I said, everyone was waiting for November 1 to roll around, and they thought it was just going to be like pulling a Christmas cracker, and all these players would just jump out of it. And it was kind of a bit of a, letdown, because November 1 came, and November 2 and 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden who we signed. And it's been a slow burn. But we've got Toby Sackson from the Dogs, and he's a gun player, and I speak to a lot of Canterbury supporters around the place, and they're all livid that he's leaving them and coming to the Bears. So he's going to be part of the good, the part of the spine that we need. There was a story on the net the other day that they might have been trying to coerce Matt Burton into coming across as well to partner up there. We got Harry Newman from the Leeds Rhinos, and I just looked at a story today that's just come out like 3 hours ago, where it says Bears General Manager David Sharp said that we can expect to see 10 players signed before Christmas. So, that's what's come out in on the internet about 3 hours ago. So I don't know, what's those Christmas calendar things? You open the little box and you get a little present out of it. So let's open the little box and see whose name it is, eh?
A little event calendar, you reckon?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one we're after. Mm-hmm. In the shape of a bear claw, you open. Oh, and who is going to play for the Bears now? Oh, good stuff.
It's in Christmas red.
Yes, that's right. So no, but it's good. There's a lot of been a lot of talk, and even on Sunday in the Sunday paper over here that there's a story saying that Mal's a bit despondent, thinking, has he done the right thing? Is he the right man for the job? Because people aren't coming or signing and things like that. And he's, the press beat it up, and him saying that is he second guessing himself, and is he doing the right thing? Should he be the man in charge? But I think a lot of the other players around the place who have already signed with potential signings that have already locked in with the Gold Coast and things like that. There'd be a lot of players that's kind of waiting for see what's going to happen with PNG as well. Do they go for the tax-free dollars? Do they, but we all know what's going to happen there. They'll sign for 2 years and say, I'm homesick, I want to go back, So there's a lot of juggling going around to try to get the right mix. And I'm sure there's a lot of talk and, under the table, not Eastern Suburbs style, but, general conversations about, availability and things like that. So I'm sure there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. And if that's right from what they said in there like 3 hours ago, possibly 10 signings before Christmas, which would be great, would set up the new year, because we really got to get some boots on the ground and start this thing rolling. And John, talking, when you get talking about the schools, I'm a school teacher, and I'm kind of the unofficial development officer, and that's why I become a school teacher, is to get little kids to support the Bears and things like that. But even the kids that I see at school are totally aware of the Bears over here, and I'm sure that will translate over there. So if you need a part-time development officer, I can use, go to school a couple of days and come and work in the office a couple of days, or bounce around some schools, mate. I'm up for it. So.
Mate, we'll take you up on that. I reckon you'd be a very effective salesperson for the game of rugby league at any school you went into, mate.
Oh, so mate, we go hard, and everyone asks me, do I own anything other than red and black? And I said, well, I do. It's black and red as well. So I've got I've got two styles of clothes, so it all works.
We'd have to get you over here, Ross. I reckon you should move over here if you can get a job.
Mate,
reckon?
Mate, I'd be over there for sure.
There you go, John. There's an opportunity.
It's not like there's a shortage of bloody school teachers in Western Australia. Crikey Moses, mate, you'd get a gig with. I reckon they'd actually bloody spirit you out in a limousine if you came over to Western Australia with your teachers.
I've got a few contacts over there. My mate's wife is in the office at one of the high schools over there. So there's always fingers in the pies everywhere. So just got to make things work. So
well, mate, you let us know when you make that commitment to become a Western Australian. Let us know, mate.
We'll talk. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, welcome to this week's edition of Seek with Ross Pitman.
So it is gig to come up, because I jump at that too.
It is palpable about the feeling of that national competition coming back, though, isn't it? Like it's even in Victoria, you pick up the paper and you're reading more stuff around the NRL. We're probably more informed in Victoria than we ever have been, and I know that You know, you got the Storm and all that sort of stuff over here, but it's national news. It just the energy behind it is not. It's nonstop.
It is, and just going back to what you were talking about with the signings and things like that. You know, last week or the weekend before, there was a thing about saying, you know, players aren't coming because they've got a limited amount of cash. It sounds like there's an endless bucket or a well of cash, but you know, they were saying they should give the Perth Bears an extra couple of $1 million or something like that to have up their sleeve or in their war chest to kind of to try and get some bigger fish. But and as we were talking a little bit earlier, you know, I really think that they needed to increase the salary cap, and I've got a way to do that too. So here's my salary cap. So I've got my salary cap, and it's big, and it needs lots of dollars hanging off the side.
The only problem with that, Ross, is I reckon that cap probably wouldn't fit my big buffet. I reckon I'd have to let it out at the back, the same as I do with everything else. What you should have done is you should have aligned yourself with the West Coast Eagles, because then you would have got priority picks, more money. You know, you would have got father-son rules. Not only do you get
extra rookies.
It's not the brown paper bag. It's the baggies with whatever. You know. So.
Is it? You know the drink bottles they run out onto the ground.
Yeah,
they're full of Chardonnay and Dom Perignon for those drinkers. You know, like so
you should. They don't
have away from those blokes.
Poor old Eagles get it, don't
they? They get it because they deserve it. But it's great to see. It's really great to see. You know, what is a great sport. You know, getting some real wheels in a place where, look, you know, it's not that well known. It's certainly not that well taken up. So it's good to see it's getting some wheels.
Well, you've been working pretty hard on it for 15 years to try and get it happening over here, haven't you, John?
Oh, yeah.
Long time, guys. It's a great reward for the efforts of all the people that have been involved, and it's a relief as well, because we finally got there. And as I said earlier, it gives our sport an opportunity to compete on a more level playing field. Look, all the four codes can coexist. I think that's the thing. No one's going to make claims that you know, the Bears are, you know, in rugby league.
We're a sporting nation, so we you know, it's what's one good for one is good for all. So, but as you were saying a bit earlier with the patronage over there, and I've been when I've been over there, there are a lot of guys from the UK, you know, and we've seen that with the Ashes and stuff like that. So they're, like, as you said, from Northern England, like the heartland of rugby league, where it was first invented. You know, they supported in droves over there, and the South Island communities and stuff like that, Pacific Island communities and stuff that are over there as well, they support it. And you got all the FIFO workers that's coming from interstate. Everyone's behind it. It's you know, such a good thing.
Oh, look, we just you know, we just want a team, a Bears team that you know, that West Australians and, of course, the big army of Bears fans right around the nation, particularly, you know, in Sydney, a team that they can all be proud of, a team that can go out there and represent them in a really, really competitive way. Look, you know, West Australians over here, I mean, they love their sport, and we want to see them get behind, you know, this club when they get up and running, and we're all very, very confident that will happen. And at the same time, it'll just really help supercharge the game of rugby league and its future growth in this West Australian market. But again, I will say, you know, just a salute to all of the, you know, where Roscoe is over there, to all the long-suffering North Sydney Bears fans that have been doing it tough over the years. And, you know, I know how excited that cohort of you know, fans really is, in terms of, you know, the dream has come true. The Bears are sort of coming out of hibernation. It's going to be a bi-coastal brand. That's exciting in itself. We're going to have this brand, the Bears, that are going to, you know, have yes, they're going to be based out of Perth, but every time they come to Sydney, we know that there's going to be an enormous amount of support for them turning up when they play Parramatta, when they play Manly, the arch rival. But you know, I think that's going to be great for the game, because you know, if you're a Sydney Roosters and you're hosting the Perth Bears playing you know, at the stadium there, I mean, you know, it's going to have a really positive impact on the gate. There's going to be more football, more rugby league fans, Perth Bears fans coming to support their team when they hit Sydney or hit Brisbane or Newcastle.
Right, so you just touched on Brisbane. Queensland has a huge amount of North Sydney supporters because of the likes of Mark Graham, who played in the Brisbane comp, Gary Larson, Billy Moore, all the Les Kiss, all the former legends that played for the Bears that came from Queensland. So we've got a huge contingent of supporters that's based in Queensland. So Sydney, Queensland, even when Perth Bears plays Auckland in Auckland, there will be Bears supporters everywhere. So they talk about seeing the random South supporter on Facebook. I'll tell you what, there's just as many Bears supporters out there as well.
Oh, 100%. Roscoe, and look, it's just going to pump so much life into that fan base. It's been lying dormant for a few decades.
That's it. We've been waiting.
It's very exciting for the Bears. It's very exciting for our sport. Right across the board, it's going to be an exciting time, and we know that Mel and David Sharp and all the team at the Bears are going to put together a very, very competitive squad of talent.
The back office is looking really good. So they say winning starts at the front desk, and the back office and stuff. It's coming together really nice. So I'm sure they're going to do the right thing and get this thing going in the right direction for us too.
Yeah, and as the months go by, there's going to be more meat on the bones in terms of their staffing, front office as well as the football staff. That's all going to come together. So I think, and certainly just a shout out to Mel Meninga, because goes without saying, he's just an Australian sporting legend. He's an icon of our sport. He's probably the most recognisable rugby league identity in the country, if you think about it. And I've seen firsthand how Mel has been embraced by West Australians. He's come to some of our events. Everyone's queuing up for selfies and autographs and all those sorts of things. And he's just a wonderful ambassador for the sport of rugby league. And we certainly next year, at every opportunity when he's in the state, we really want to leverage his star power, as an ambassador for the Bears and for rugby league. We want to get him into the regional areas as well. Let's not forget areas like the Pilbara. There's a really strong rugby league hub up in the Pilbara. Again, largely fueled by expat New South Wales
and
people,
the FIFOs,
and so on. The FIFOs. We got a really quite a strong junior rugby league competition up in the Pilbara. In fact, a big shout out to the Karratha Kangaroos Junior Rugby League Club. They won this year's NRL National Community Club of the Year, despite all of their financial and geographical challenges. They've done an amazing job up there. Big shout out to them to win that award, and there's even bigger things to come from that club next year. But we want to get Mel. In fact, we've already got some dates penciled in for Mel to get up to the Pilbara and preach the gospel according to rugby league and the Bears. But we certainly want to make use of his influence, before he really gets down and dirty with the coaching of the Bears team heading into 27.
Well, they got a good backup there with Ben Gardner as well, so he's going to go really, really well as an understudy and things like that. So his experience, he'll grow his experience as well under Mal, and it's only looking upwards. And when this thing starts, getting some traction, so it'll be really good.
Yeah, indeed. Just a bit of a spin off that. When I caught up with Fez at Ronald McDonald having Happy Day down there at Kurrawarra, we just speaking of Ronald McDonald and the Ronald McDonald House Ball, which was 2 weeks ago, we organised a major auction item of a lunch for 6 people with Mel Meninga, the inaugural Bears coach, at a restaurant here in Perth called the Embassy, with all wine supplied by Penfolds, and it went for $18,000,
wow.
Which is pretty handy, and to a great cause, of course, as well.
I thought you were going to say it was at McDonald's with the Happy Meals, but that's a lot better.
Not unusual to see Farrelly at.
No, that's right.
At
Apparently
McDonald's.
ran out of nuggets that day.
That's it. Well, he is Ronald McDonald. He gets to every store during the year.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look into a back row, mate. You know.
Well, you're a clown. You're a clown. That's it for sure. But, no, it's a guy. Look, you've got to leverage it. You've got to leverage blokes like like Mel Meninga. It would be crazy not to. And we're certainly looking forward to working closely with you guys as it gets closer and closer, and keeping a real good eye on what's going on out of the Perth Bears.
Absolutely.
100%, guys. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you. And Fez is very keen to increase the amount of rugby league that's it's becoming more relevant, of course, in the West Australian market, and of course nationally. And any chance we get to talk up rugby league, we'll jump at it, guys. So any time you want us to get involved, we will.
I'll be your number one ticket holder in Victoria. There you go.
I'll make the effort to get over there next year to catch up with you lads as well. So and Victoria, I've just bought a flight to Victoria for the AFL in April, but I'll get to over the Western Australia as well and catch up with you lads. So it'll be good.
Well, mate, by the way you were talking earlier, it'll be a one-way ticket because you're going to be staying over here and getting
that's it, mate.
into the school.
I'll just bring me casual bags to school and away I go. So.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to more and more rugby league as we move towards the Bears and the big World Cup next year, obviously. And we'll talk to you guys in the future, I reckon, Faz.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, so thanks for your time. Great to chat to you again, Ross and John. We'll keep in touch. We'll get behind the local rugby league here in Perth as well. I might have to pop down to a couple of games with you and you can teach me the rules a bit more. Great to have you. Great to have you both on the show. And thanks to our sponsors, of course, Old Bridge Cellars in Como, Finance My Home, and It's Real Estate. We'll be back shortly with another segment of the show where KP and I might talk a little bit of craft beer with Ali from Old Bridge Cellars. I'm getting a bit thirsty.
Keep this in mind, Faz, when you do play your first game of rugby league, it's like netball, all right? When someone throws you the ball, you just stand still, all right? Okay?
We're
going to see about 8 blokes shit mix you, knock you into next week. Going to Barrack South of Perth. Jesus, man. Give it a rest.
I'm going to work on my squats, I reckon.
You're going to work on your pelvic floor by the look of it. We're out of here.
All right, thanks, guys.